opportunity to still be with you guys in this way, and hopefully in person next year in 2021. That's the hope. So I'm so grateful that Kathy and John went before, because honestly, I think that in the field perspective is some of the most helpful in as far as relating what you're going to want to be thinking about and doing to your operations. But I did promise to share just a little bit from the department side about what's going on with COVID-19 resources. And the great news is most of them have already been covered by Kathy and John. So for starters, this link at the top is like your direct link for everything COVID-19 related at the department. It's this website, you know, right here at the top, and then right underneath it is that MDA Responds email address, which is, you know, great if you can't exactly find the info you're looking for, or need to, you know, move forward with a question and you're just not quite certain how. But Kathy also highlighted this University of Extension resource. That's what she walked through with you guys at the beginning. And just as a heads up, the Department of Ag is making a resource that goes along with that U of M Extension one on agritourism and the sorts of elements that would lead you into different types of guidance. They're just making that into more of a chart. So if you're a person who really loves examples, this U of M resource already kind of walks you through farm examples. I'm the person who really likes that better. But if you are more of a chart-based person, next week is when we hope to be releasing this sort of agritourism guidance in a chart form. So just keep a heads up for that. I will send it out via the Minnesota Grown email to folks, but that'll be also on this, MDA state mn.us COVID-19 website too. And, the main thing I wanted to hit on besides that is what Kathy and John already hit on, that, all businesses need to follow the general stay safe MN guidance, and that all businesses need to establish a COVID-19 preparedness plan. So those are your, kind of baseline items to address. And then any further guidance will really depend on your farm activities, depending on, which Department of Labor and Industry guidance docs you should look at for further info beyond that general guidance one. So I really think John and Kathy did a great job illustrating that, but I just wanted to make sure to hit on that quickly and kind of build off of what John and Kathy had said about that Safe on the Farm cost share program. So over here on the photo here is a picture of a do-it-yourself style hand washing station. This is actually from the North Star Farm Tour in 2019. But, you can make all kinds of hand washing stations. There's, of course, needs for masks and sanitizing supplies. And this Safe on the Farm cost share program can help cover up to $250 of your purchases for COVID-19 related equipment and supplies. So it's at least a chunk of change back with what you're going to need to be purchasing to prepare. And that cost share program is open until the end of October. So definitely, get a roll on it now. Start, compiling what you'd want to submit for that cost share, because my colleague Emily Mayer runs the program, and you can find the link to this cost share program right from that MDA COVID-19 page, and Emily is there to help answer any questions if you have specific questions on whether or not they qualify. One of the things that does qualify, and I promised I would show this, and then I'll take a pause after this slide. One of the things that would qualify is signage too, instructing customers, hey, be aware of these things related to COVID-19. And these initially came about for the farmers markets and for Kathy here, because, as people are approaching the markets, some markets wanted signs that had these reminders. So they're great though in a farm setting as well. If you want any of these templates, I have them. So just email me, and they're in a size that already works well to give to your local print shop and then print for a sandwich board style sign or whatever style sign is going to work for your farm. The file should be pretty easily manipulated by your printer to make it fit whatever your needs are. So just know that you can reach out to me for that, but you're not limited to these signs for that Safe on the Farm cost share program. If your Chamber of Commerce, like John was saying, has a really nice sign that you want to use, that also should be able to qualify for the program. So just know that, but that's another thing that we would love to share if it's helpful. So I have a few, Minnesota Grown related updates, but I want to take a pause and see if there are any questions in the chat or any questions out in the crowd related to kind of Department of Ag resources that are out there right now.
Nothing from the crowd here. Sorry.
No worries. That's okay. Just thought I would pause because I know that's a lot of info. But I'll just kind of leap into a few Christmas tree related Minnesota Grown updates then. And the first one is a slide that probably is familiar to you guys who were at the March meeting and saw Paul present right before we went all into lockdown. Paul was telling you all about the 2019 Christmas tree advertising campaign. And each holiday season, we do TV advertising and digital advertising around choosing real Minnesota grown Christmas trees, find your nearest tree lot and tree farm to cut your own. And so one of the things that you gave feedback on at that meeting was that this advertising campaign should start earlier in the season. So just so you know, the homepage takeover, like you're seeing here on Care 11, is actually going to start on November 17th this year. So that's 9 days before Thanksgiving. And then the rest of the paid campaign advertising starts on November 18th, 8 days before Thanksgiving. So that should really help, especially because people are going to need to be thinking and making their plans earlier because there will be some changes due to COVID-19. So another note from Paul was that the takeover on Care 11 is going to deliver a minimum of 800,000 impressions. So that's for mobile phones, tablets, and desktops. So just wanted to give a short update that all that's in the works. And, just like the slide notes, it's not just Care 11, but also Greater Minnesota cable networks that the advertising's on and streaming services too, like your advertisements that come on before a YouTube ad or advertisements that come on before a Hulu show, things like that. So I also wanted to do a recap. So beyond the paid digital advertising and paid TV ads, I just wanted to do a recap on where we're at with some of the other networks. Our Minnesota Grown website gets about 350,000 visitors each year. So we got a lot of traffic coming in where we promote at the top of the website in-season products right when the web traffic hits that site. So they're going straight to Christmas tree listings in end of November. Then on Facebook, we're at 33,000 followers now, and that's another huge area, along with Pick of the Month, which is our newsletter for the general public that has 20,000 followers. Come November time, we're really hitting hard on here's how you do DIY, beautiful settings for your front yard with Christmas wreaths and garland. Here's how you find your local tree lots. These are the sorts of general public interest pieces that we're really pushing in November. And then a growing area is our Instagram account. So I think a lot of people in businesses can relate to this, that they're seeing kind of increased talk about Instagram. It might not be a fit for your business yet, but we have seen the Minnesota Grown Instagram grow now over 3,000 followers, and it just depends what kind of market segment you're targeting. But younger people in more creative fields like art, marketing, design, tend to be on Instagram. It's a very visual platform, and Christmas is a very visual holiday. So stay tuned on that, but it's interesting to watch that channel grow as well. So if you are on Instagram, just know that we ask permission of members to reshare their photos, and that is something you can always give us a heads up if you've got something fun coming onto your Instagram page. But as just an example of sort of that social media marketing that we do, this was a Facebook post from last Christmas. And we boost Facebook posts strategically during the season as well. So you'll see at the bottom, this says boost again. And we can boost in different geographical segments. We can boost by different age demographics too. So like really trying to hit home on that, 25 to 55-year-old segment that might have kids they want to bring out to the farm to get the Christmas tree. So this is really helpful in getting many reaches. This particular post had 26,000 people reached. And then engagements were almost 3,500. And engagements are when people like your post, share your post, or comment on it, doing even more kind of in-depth interaction with your post. So just so you know, that is also in the works for this coming year. And maybe I will take a pause because I think I saw something pop through on the chat box here. Did I miss a question, Mark or Dave?
Yes, but it was about COVID. Sorry, it wasn't about the business.
No, it's okay. Let's go. Let's go to the
Yeah,
COVID
so
question.
it's very specific. And does just having a campfire on your farm put you into the category of meeting the entertainment criteria?
No, I'm glad you asked that question because we are getting clarification on that. As we've been developing that agritourism document, that was a question that came up because, kind of like corn mazes, it's a really interesting thing where is this something that would be automatically entertainment, or is there, some kind of a scenario in which it wouldn't be? So we're asking that question of Department of Labor and Industry, and that is what we hope to have clarified in that agritourism document that I mentioned earlier that hopefully we're aiming to come out next week.
Thank you.
Yeah. I hope you waited to that. I thought I heard that allowing people to consume their own, their own water bottle or their own coffee that they brought is allowed. Correct?
Yeah, let me make a note of that, Mark, because that would be good to make sure is clarified in that document as well. I don't want to say right now because I'm not I'm not certain of it 100%, but I will make a note to make sure that's.
John mentioned, he was encouraging them to bring water bottles, and I'm just.
Yeah. No, thank you for that.
People kind of tend to tailgate at our place, and I don't want to be a police officer saying, you can't do that.
Yeah. Well, put it this way, keep collecting those in the chat box or the Dave in your head, and I'll take another pause here in a sec, but let me just kind of wrap up this section here. And I don't have too many more slides, and then we'll kind of take another pause. So the thing I want to make sure to take a poll on quick, get people's feedback is, are there key messages that you really want people to hear this year for 2020? So Kathy Zeman mentioned earlier, farmers markets really were trying to tell people, this is kind of a come get what you need. There's not going to be as much standing around and chatting sort of atmosphere. That was one thing that they kind of decided as a group of markets was sort of important to be sharing out more broadly. Two things that came to my mind before this presentation were really reminding people to check the farm websites or call ahead for any weather or COVID related changes. That's one thing that we can be careful to share in Facebook posts and kind of, prime people's brains to think about. And then one other message that I thought might be kind of unique for this year is that it's very possible that people are staying home more and having more smaller celebrations during the holiday compared to getting all together as a large family gathering. So this might be a year where savor the season, bring home the holidays is actually resonates more with people who are still wanting to kind of create that Christmas spirit and that Christmas atmosphere, but having to do it in their own home instead of going to grandma and grandpa's or going to, the distant cousins and all of that. Are there any other kind of messages that come to mind that are really critical that people have at the moment?
I think just the message that getting a real tree.
Already here, you got to come up here.
Getting a real tree is a safe outdoor experience, whether, the tree lot or the cut your own place, that it's a chance to get out, shop, cut in a safe outdoor environment, I guess.
Yeah.
Okay, you're on.
Well, I can't remember what I was looking at. I can't remember if it was Apple. I think it was some Apple farms, but they were encouraging people not to bring the whole family, or like with the Christmas trees, we have people that come and get one tree. It's mom and dad and the kids and maybe 2 sets of grandparents, and they buy one tree. Is there a way that we can nicely say, maybe you should just come and get your tree and meet your grandparents or other family members at a house or a restaurant afterwards?
Yes. I think that's a real great point. How can we kind of creatively encourage small groups that with a positive spin?
With a positive spin. But and one tree. I mean, if they get 3 trees, that would be different, but they're buying one tree. Yeah.
Exactly.
So at farmers markets, this is Kathy Zeman. So at farmers markets, some markets literally have greeters at the door. And when a whole big old group comes together, they literally ask them, could one of you go through when the other ones stay here and talk amongst yourselves, catch up. They try to do it funny. And there are some signs. Karen, is that on your signage? Or somebody's got a sign that literally says, only send one person. There's a sign that says it. So yeah, it is a messaging. And if the whole industry can stay consistent in that messaging, like this is just the year you're going to send one person to cut the tree and the rest of you can stay in your car. Some markets have begun piping in music in the parking lot so that at least people aren't bored out of their minds, right? As one person goes in and the other one. So you could maybe think about that too.
And not just that, but I mean, we do have family groups, and just a signage to keep the family group together.
So we're having a discussion here. Okay, give me the floor for a minute here. So we're having a little discussion, and I would separate. Got to give the context of separating 40 or 80 acres from a very confined farmer's market. Okay, so we're looking at this in 2 different ways, I think. So a bubble, or whatever they're called, a group, using the example of 3 grandparents and grandchildren that sticks together. They come in 2 vehicles, one following the other. They go out, to some part of the farm. They're never more than 100 feet from any other people. And there's contactless payment on the way out. I don't see an issue here at all, except a family having a very nice, special Christmas.
Exactly. So
doing something they can't do anywhere else this year.
Yeah. And I think I can look to some examples of that, but there are ways to talk about, bringing the family and having a good time for, but still keeping it safe and comfortable. And I think that some of the orchards, like you're saying, have some of that language already really honed out well. So I can kind of look into that and see what's some language that will be encouraging.
Great.
But also help people keep it realistic for their family and their family's needs. All right. I'm seeing a thumbs up from Dave, and I really love this because this is the sort of feedback that helps us out a lot. But I'm also a person who likes to think over things and mull them over. So if you think of more tidbits or pointers that you guys have about sort of talking about the holiday season this year, please direct email. Well, myself would be fine, but you'll also see an email very soon for a lovely woman named Gabby who has joined our team. And you can also direct email Gabby Sparby, who is more directly handling our website and our social media. She and I work together, so it won't matter who you reach out to. But I will just move on then to the last slides here. One is a reminder that if you want, definitely feel free to send us photos to go with your listing on Minnesota Grown's website. And if you want to add or tweak your language to say something like see website for more updates, or see Facebook page for COVID-19 and weather updates, we can kind of tweak your listing any time of year for the website, and I would really welcome anybody to reach out to me about tweaking that. It's just a simple change on my end, and then it's updated by the next business day after I've made that change. So happy to do that, and I've already done that for a few Christmas tree farms already. So if you're wanting to add photos, that's also easy. Just review the photo policy on the website and direct email any photos you want to Gabby, gabby.sparby@state.mn.us. And then the last update I had may have already been shared by Jan this morning, but we did get a chance to talk with the groundskeeping crew at the Capitol. Go ahead, Dave.
Yeah, she went through things and we have somebody picked, right?
Oh, for the state, yeah.
Yeah, State Tree.
Yep, Wilson Tree Farm.
Yep, Wolsine is doing it.
Okay, now is that for the
All of them?
the governor's mansion or
All of them.
Okay. Because just to clarify with the Capitol is not actually open to the public. So the public, since it's not open, the groundskeeper said that doing the Christmas tree in the rotunda would not work given that nobody would be coming by to see it. But I do know that the governor's residence, there are different arrangements for the Christmas trees that go into there. Minnesota Grown has always helped coordinate the grand champion of the state fair being showcased in the rotunda of the Capitol. Last year, I think you all remember that we had it was put outdoors for a few years due to the Capitol construction, but last year had a chance to feature a tree again in the rotunda. So it's something that we want to do, and we will be ready and poised to ask right away in September 2021 of getting this in the Capitol. But the groundskeeping crew did let us know that the Capitol will be closed during at least until the elections, but most likely until the beginning of the new year. So that is where that's at as far as the Capitol Christmas tree. Again, that's separate from the governor's residence arrangements. So go through your normal channels for those arrangements. Just to kind of one last thing, and then I'll open up for more questions. Gabby Sparby's contact email is here. I just have email right now because they're getting her set up with the phone line. We're kind of in a unique situation. Gabby is brand new to Minnesota Grown in a way, but she actually worked with our Minnesota Ag in the classroom. And some of you might be familiar with that because they have featured Christmas trees as a Minnesota agricultural product in educational materials in the past. So Gabby was a student worker for them. We're, to be honest, facing some challenges just with staffing because of the hiring freeze, but we were able to get the okay from management and budget to hire at least internally to fill this gap that we had with Danielle Dugard, who moved on to a new opportunity earlier in the winter. So Gabby is come on board to work on the Minnesota Grown Facebook page, social media in general, the website. She's really going to fill a lot of that role that Danielle filled before. And so anybody